Hey, Colleen Granger, how are you?
I'm doing great, Ricky. How are you?
Now, I understand you're up in Alaska.
Yes,
What's the
yes.
name of the town?
Glen Allen.
And how would we find that on a map?
It's 200 miles due east of Anchorage.
East of Anchorage, so it's
Right.
inland.
Yes, it's towards the Yukon border.
Wow, and about how many people live there?
About 500 people in a 50-mile radius.
Wow, so it's smaller than La Vita, which has 900.
Yeah.
Yeah, wow. Okay, well, when we started talking just before we turned on the recorder, I noticed this thing on the wall behind you, and it looks to me like it's a bear. Is that a real bear?
Yeah, that's a real grizzly bear.
Wow. So his head's up above, you're right there towards the door. Yeah, right there's the head.
Right.
And how big is that bear?
He's a 7-footer.
Wow. Now tell me the story on it.
This is the year my husband forgot my birthday and went out bear hunting.
Oh.
Oops.
Oops. And so is this a present to you?
No. No, this is his biggest grizzly bear he ever got. So
Wow. That's
we
amazing.
are hunter fisher people.
I would imagine that you are. And today it's December, what, 8th?
8th, I believe.
Yeah, December 8th. So I'm curious to know how cold it is up there today.
It's about 10 degrees and snowing.
10 degrees and snowing. Okay, well, I'm at probably about 30 degrees today, and it's beautiful and sunny. So we want to introduce you to the Quilt Show family. And I understand that you're an author with C&T, and you've got a book called Circular Quilts. Is that right?
Circle Quilts.
Now, this is Alex Anderson calling me right now. So, hello, Alex. It's Ricky. Hi, I'm right in the middle of a Skype call with Colleen Granger. Well, so you might as well you might as well say hello to the TQS family too.
Right. Now, this is fantastic. Hello, everyone. You can see that. Okay, I'm going to hang up, but I want everyone to have a wonderful weekend. And Ricky, can you give me a call back a little bit later?
I will do. Talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye. That's the story of my life. Alex,
As they say, timing is everything, right?
timing is everything. All right, so your book is called Circular Quilts, and tell us a little bit why Circular Quilts.
Because there's so many round and square and rectangular ones. Why not go round?
Right, and do you have a picture or copy of your book?
Yep.
Hold it up and let us see that.
Let's see. Can you see that?
Yeah, that looks great.
Yeah. This was the first round quilt that I attempted, and it was a design I saw on a painting, I believe.
Right.
And it was one of those that, you just kind of keep thinking about and let's see, can I do it this way and can I do it that way, and paper piecing one out over templates.
Okay. The design for these quilts comes from where?
Most of the designs I did myself, but the inspiration, I saw similar things in books that I adapted so that they could be chopped into rings and then paper pieced.
Now, you mentioned paper piecing here. So what kind of paper piecing do you do?
I do strip paper piecing, which
Okay.
means instead of sewing your pattern pieces to small pieces of fabric, you sew them to strips of fabric all at one time.
Oh, isn't that interesting? I'm guessing this is because you're doing multiple images, multiple units that are identical.
Yes.
So you can just kind of, it's almost like chain piecing with paper.
Right.
Wow, that's very cool. And that's all described in your book.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
I call it power piecing. I'm one of those instant gratification kind of people, but paper piecing is not instant gratification, but it makes beautiful points, and I love the outcome from it.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I think that there's so many techniques in the quilter's toolbox, and you just simply have to use the one that's most appropriate for the project.
Right.
and be willing to do that. All right, now I know that you have a term called top stitching. Why isn't that the same as just doing applique?
Well, to me, it's the same as applique because I use a zigzag stitch, and I mean, you're not exactly satin stitching, or you're not buttonhole stitching or anything that you would normally do with applique. But there are a lot of people that, for some reason or another, that term may turn them off. They go, "Oh, I can't applique." But if you tell them they're just going to top stitch, they go, "Oh, I can do that."
Okay, so
And then when they're done, you tell them that they really appliqued, and then that opens new horizons for them.
Yes, I like that little trick. So you're turning under an edge and you're laying it up on another piece, and you're just stitching down that edge.
Right.
Essentially, right?
You paper piece into arcs, put your arcs together to make them into rings, and then you turn them into a ring, and then you layer the rings on top of each other, and then you top stitch this edge.
Yeah.
That you folded over.
Hold that up a little bit higher, and then turn it around the other way so we can see that beautiful design. There you go. Wow, cool.
So then when you layer it all together, it'll do that.
Look at that. That is beautiful.
That's actually this ring right here.
Oh, now I see where that seam is. Okay.
So there's a ring here, and there's a ring here, and there's a ring here, and then you have an outer ring.
And then the surprise is you don't even notice that ring whenever you put it all together.
True.
That is very cool.
Because I use invisible thread.
Okay, so is that one of the special tools you use, is invisible thread?
Yeah, and then the great news is in October of this year, Superior Threads came out with a brand new monopoly that they now call, wait a minute, I don't have my glasses on. It's called Extra Fine, and it also has a matte finish now, so you don't get a glare from it. So you can photograph it with a flash, and it doesn't flash back at you. Where some of the monofilaments that you can buy, when you take a picture of them, you can see that line.
Sure, because it's glaring.
From the invisible
thread.
Well,
that's very cool. I'm going to have to get a spool of that and try it.
Yeah, just give Bob a call. He sent mine to me.
Man, I wish we could all just call Bob and say, "Hey, Bob, send us some thread." Yeah. Nonetheless, we'll check that out. So do you find that your students or quilters are apprehensive about doing circular designs because they may not lay flat? I mean, I do a cool kaleidoscope project that are wedges that all come together, and it's kind of a circular design. And do you ever have that problem, or does the paper pretty much stabilize it?
The paper helps. I use a washable glue stick on the tips of the paper for when you're putting the points all together. That helps hold the fabric so it doesn't distort, and it helps to reduce the amount of mountains that you get.
Right. Well, and then how about hanging a circular?
But yeah, that's also... Well, what I did was I decided that since I was writing this whole book with C&T on circular quilts, that I had to come up with the solution to hang them, because most people, when they try and hang a circular quilt, they end up putting 50 clear push pins around the edges to hold them up, because otherwise they start to bag at the edge. So I developed a product called Quilt Shaper, and it's stainless steel. So this is let's see, get the glare out of here.
That's good.
This is Quilt Shaper, and it looks like this, turns into a ring. Let's see, put it on the bear so that you can see an angle.
Yeah, that looks good.
And it has a connector, so you cut it to the length that you need for your particular quilt, and then you put the two ends together, and what happens is this gets threaded through the binding of your quilt, so the binding holds it in, and the steel holds it out, so the steel won't rust in your quilt, and then when you go to hang it, your quilt can look like this. Whoa, let's see.
You know what? Stand up and step back.
Let me slide back here a little bit. So this is held out. See, I'm holding it with one finger, and you can see this outside edge is just staying there nicely. So I just put 2 sleeves on the back and put 1 nail in the wall and put the nail in between the 2 sleeves, and it'll hang nicely whichever direction you want it to because it's got this steel in the edge.
That is great. And how long is that steel? I mean, how big of a circle can you make with what your hanging system is?
It comes in 2 lengths because of other people that make round quilts. Cheryl Phillips makes a huge round quilt. It's 54 inches across.
Wow.
So originally the steel came in 12-foot lengths, so now you have an option of 12-foot or 25-foot lengths.
Wow, okay. Well, that's good. And then suppose somebody liked your designs, but they didn't want it to be circular. Can they still make it square, rectangle, or?
Well, then we go back to top stitching again. and then you take your fabric, a fabric that you like, and let me get back far enough.
Oh, look at that. Isn't that beautiful? Wow.
So then this has, I can't see the screen here. This has a nice border that complements the center quilt, and you just turn it into a medallion, and you can make it a round robin and pass it around and make the borders bigger and bigger until you're the size that you want it to be.
Well, that's great. Well, it's been nice talking to you. I know that the TQS family are going to eat up the opportunity to explore your book and your circular quilts. And I would love to come to Alaska and pet the bear on the wall, but not the bear that's outside, that's still walking around. But I just really appreciate you spending some time with us today on the Quilt Show.
Oh, well, thank you very much, and thanks for the opportunity, Ricky. It's been my pleasure.
You're welcome. We'll talk to you later.
Okay, thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye.